please.
Okay, now I got it. I got the message. All right, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining. And I don't know, I feel like I'm like a newscaster and going to, deliver some news. Anyways, thank you so much everyone for joining, and it's always lovely to have you all on such webinars and talk to you about on different topics and learning. And I also learn from all of you. And today we wanted to talk about imposter syndrome. And this is the term we hear a lot, we read a lot, and so many people, they said, I'm feeling imposter, I'm not being able to move. So first of all, let's understand what exactly the imposter syndrome is. At the very, to be precise, what defines imposter syndrome is basically when we feel that we are undeserving of the success in our life, irrespective to our prior successes, prior in achievements. We have already like achieved so many things in our life, and we are on that path where we have like history of successes, but still we believe I don't deserve to be where I am. And it's just like you're doubting yourself, you're doubting your achievements, and you never feel that you're enough. And you always, it's like you don't want to be, sometimes you don't want to be seen or you don't want to be found because you doubt your own abilities, irrespective of your track record of the achievements, what you have like already achieved in your life or successes you have already achieved in your life, but still you feel that you don't deserve this success. So this is exactly what we call imposter syndrome. And people say, I can't move in my life, I feel imposter. So in today's session, what I want to cover, what I want to talk about is like, first of all, I will just briefly touch on what are the very generic aspects of or symptoms of imposter syndrome, where we can understand fine if someone having these kind of experiences, they're having imposter syndrome, or what are the basic reasons why they develop that. And we are also part of that. Is just we also sometimes feel a lot like we have this imposter syndrome. Once we will understand what exactly it is, and I'm not going to dwell in very detail on that, like why this is happening. I will just run through very briefly, because my today's core intention is to talk more about it, how we can overcome imposter syndrome. So I don't want to spend much time on the symptoms and the causes, but I will run through just to give you a fair idea of it. But then I would like to talk more about it, that how can we overcome of this experience or of this belief of self-doubt, and what strategies we can take in that. And by the end of the session, we can definitely have some question answers, and whatever you have any questions, doubts, you can come up with that. And I would suggest that please do take notes. So there must be some learnings for you, and just take a note of it. And if you have any question, you can ask me or simply act on that. So starting with that, okay. My screen was not working. Anyways, all right. So a general, we say the symptoms of imposter syndromes is like we have a persistent self-doubt. So whether we are in our career, we are in education, we are always doubting it. For example, there are many students, though, those who are achieving really good, like as per the norm of our society, they are having really good grades and everything, but still they don't think that they deserve this one. And we will get to that, why we have these kind of beliefs. But this is what you can say one of the sign of our behavior sign, that when we are having a constantly, persistently, we are having some self-doubt, even though we have, if I didn't achieve much, but there is something I have done really good, or really I have really done something amazing in my life. So there must be some kind of success I have achieved, but still I doubt myself. I still, when I can't move forward, because I feel that, no, I don't know if that it was me who has done that, or someone has just helped me and it's happened by luck. And so these are different kind of psychological, it's a psychological phenomenon, you can say. We have the different kind of self-doubts, and we doubt our own success. And like it's mentioned, attributing success to luck or external factors. So you must have observed, maybe personally, if you've seen people when they have done something, achieved something really good, whether that's in their career or in personal life, they always claim it that, oh, I was just lucky. They don't own it. They just claim it, or they put that externally, that ownership externally, and they say, I was just lucky in that situation, and that's why I got it. Or no, it was my parents those who really helped me to get that. It was not me. So basically, I'm hiding behind it because I don't feel that I deserve that success. So it means maybe I was lucky. Maybe on that day, the situation was really favoring me. That's why I won that match, or I did that project, or I score really good. Maybe I was having some lucky day. Maybe someone has really helped me, or generally it was just like, I would say God is always there, but you are just like saying, oh, it was just a luck, it was just a fate or destiny or someone else. But you are not owning your success. You are not saying, I have worked hard, I have put effort into it. But you're always like pushing it out, and you're giving that credit to some external factor, but you're not taking that credit for yourself. And another symptom is like a fear of failure. Most of the time, for example, even if you're working, you are in a work environment, you don't want to take any new challenge. You don't want to take any new project or any new responsibility because there is a fear of failure. You're scared that you might be judged. What perceived notion you have about your abilities, because obviously we are not believing our abilities. And I will think, if I'm going to be in a limelight, if I'm not hiding here, if I'm going to be in a limelight, people will see me how incapable I am. Because I'm doubting my own abilities. I have a fear of failure. I don't take new opportunities in my life because I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be seen. And what I will do, I will prefer to just hide, stay behind. And such people don't grow in their life. Even I don't know, in one of my webinar, I share my personal experience. I was in a corporate job, and at that time, that was my first job, and I got to know after a few months, there was one guy who was a manager in that company, and another guy was SVP of that company. And someone told me that both of these guys joined together this company 10 years back. And I was like wondering, 10 years back, both of them, they joined together. They have the same educational background and same skill set. So how come one guy has just grown to the level of SVP, another guy is still a manager? So I was like, I said, there must be some things. Or, normally we think whether someone really supported this guy to just, climb up that ladder, but no one can support that to that level that I think both of them, they came on a very junior position. But obviously there is something different that guy was doing, what this guy who was manager was not doing. And I was very curious to know that. And after some time, I figured out, because I was analyzing their behavior, and I got to know what was that. The SVP guy, and I got a chance to work on some project with him. He was very aggressive in his approach. He was always like, do this, do that, and let's do it. And always trying new things and always pushing his team to, it's just, I always felt he's a very fearless guy. He was just always very fired up, and he's pushing his team, and he's very aggressive. And the another guy who was a manager, once I got a chance to speak to him, and there was something we were discussing, and I told him, can you please do this? He said, no, I can't. I said, why not? You can do this. It is come in your profile. He said, Asma, let me tell you something. This is the way I work for whole of my life, and this is the best way to work. And I said, okay, what's that? He said, you know what? Whatever comes on your table, just do that. There is no need to look at right or left or up and down and ask someone if I can do something else. No, just stay here, Just stay on your table. Whatever gets on your table, whatever your boss tells you, just do that. There is no need for any extra effort, and you will be at peace. I said, okay, now I got an answer. Now I got to know why after 10 years, you're still a manager and that guy is an SVP. Because this guy was stuck with his fear of failure. He doesn't want to fail. So he has limited his potential, but another guy, he showed up. He took that courageous step. He was fired up, whatever he wanted to achieve in his life, and he did that in within the 10 years time period. Another thing is like perfectionism and self-criticism. Perfectionism, again, if you think that you are a perfectionist, don't think that this is a very positive behavior or positive quality or very strong quality you have. So I've seen people telling with the pride, oh, I'm a perfectionist. Then there is something you need to look at it, because perfectionism is a sign of low self-esteem. How? You want to be perfect in everything what you want to do, because somewhere you do believe that you are not worthy and good enough. And there is some kind of self-comparison is happening with someone else. Sorry. And especially a perfectionist will always put a very high bars to achieve. And that thing make him or her very exhausted to achieve that very high bars or very high standards. And it's very exhausting for that person to achieve those high bars and high standards. And sometimes that also results in procrastination, because somewhere there is fear of not achieving your own set high standards. And that's what you call, I'm a perfectionist. You're not happy and satisfied with whatever you do. You always feel there is something is missing. And that is a sign of a low self-esteem. Because somewhere you are self-criticizing yourself. You're self-criticizing your own abilities. You're never happy with yourself. So perfectionism and self-criticism is also a sign of imposter syndrome. So these are all, these kind of behaviors somewhere is all underlying imposter syndrome, because imposter syndrome is nothing but it's like that feeling that you're undeserved, that you don't deserve success in your life. And same goes with overworking. Overworking, sometimes we are working so hard and we burn out because we want to prove ourselves. We want to show like, fine, I'm the best and I can do this and I can do that. And I'm spending so many hours and hours and hours. Maybe that's not required. You want to be seen somewhere. You want to be acknowledged. That need is somewhere very internal. And you overworked and you burn out yourself within your stress, because somewhere you feel there is not enoughness. You're not enough. You don't deserve. And that's why, to feel yourself worthy, you keep working so hard. So working hard is one thing, but overworking is a different thing. Another symptom is difficulty of accepting praise in such people, because it goes back to your self-esteem and your unworthiness, because somewhere you feel if someone praise you and you feel very awkward. Yeah, maybe you have experienced that, or maybe you have seen someone experience that. If you praise them, they feel very awkward, and they're not ready to accept it, and they say, oh, no. For example, someone, even I tell about myself, I have been in that phase of my life with a very low self-esteem, and it was very difficult for me to accept the praise. If someone even tells me, oh, you're wearing really good clothes, it looks very smart, you look pretty, or you look in this way or that way. And I was like looking like this, and I was always trying to, I don't think so. This outfit is really good, and I don't think so that this color really suits me. And it was like I was denying it. I was denying it that I can look good. I'm wearing a nice outfit. I am attractive, or anything. it was so difficult for me to accept the praise. And that is also a sign when you feel it's like you don't deserve that. And people, those who experience imposter syndrome, this is also one of the underlying reason, because it goes back to the same thing of unworthiness and low self-esteem. And there is a lot of comparison also happening, and you're comparing yourself to others. See, I would say it's good to have a role model in your life. You can look up to someone, you can learn from them, and you can, if you have a role model from your own field, for example, you want to be an astronaut and you have some role model who's an astronaut. So good, you're following their path, you're learning what they have done. So, maybe they can be your mentors. But when you compare yourself in a way that fine, that person is better than me, that person deserves that success and I don't deserve that. Maybe that person is more lucky and I'm not that lucky. Maybe that person is privileged and I'm not privileged. So that comparison also puts you in a very low self-esteem, and that is distant. Even you don't look at it what you have achieved in your life, but you're always comparing yourself to others. So even though I said I will just talk briefly, but I don't know, I'm just going with the flow. And then why do we develop such feelings? So these were the very generic symptoms, what anyone can have in their behavior. And what are the very generic, or you can say main causes of why we develop such attitude and behavior? Sometimes it's a family dynamics. You have been raised in a family where parents have put, or family has put, a very high level of a pressure of high level of achievements, and you are under a constant pressure to achieve high, to achieve high, to achieve high. This is not enough, go here. This is not enough, go here. I remember I spoke to a woman. She's a very successful businesswoman. And once we were just discussing about the perfectionism, and she said, I'm a perfectionist, okay? And then we just discussed, and she said, in my family, since our childhood, we have a lot of pressure from our parents to achieve high. Whether it's your academics, whether it's your career, you have to have a high, they set a very high bar for us. And she said, me and my siblings have always been in this constant pressure to achieve more, to get more, and even to compete other kids in the family. And now even though she is working on a very high position, but she said, my first aim was to beat everyone in my family in respect to her education and her achievement. And she did 3 masters, and then she was doing a PhD, and she was working on a very high position. But she told me, you know what, Asma, I don't feel satisfied. So imagine, like, you're having so many of degrees, you're doing PhD, you are a highly earned job you're having, everything is there, but you are dissatisfied because you are raised in that family dynamic where your bars are set really high, and you're always in that pressure. You never acknowledge the successes, the achievements, what you have, because somewhere deep down you still feel you don't deserve that, and you keep striving with that. It goes back to the same thing, the early experiences of failure or rejection. Because see, in our childhood, in our formative years of first 6-7 years, we learn a lot from our primary caregivers, whether those are our parents, our teachers, or people around with us, living with us in that home, whoever it is. So if we have, as a child, I have faced any kind of rejection or a failure, so that experience will also inbuild my behavior, that I will feel that I'm not enough and I don't deserve the success. And many times we humiliate kids in front of other kids or in the family members, and we do the comparisons, and we always look at your results, and especially academics. And I think our whole educational system is flawed, because my friends are teachers, and one of my best friends, she's a teacher, and I see how she put a lot of stress even on her kids to score high grades because it's a matter of her prestige that she is like head of some department and she wants her kids also to scoring high, and her kids are always constantly in that pressure. Once I remember her daughter, like I think there was some kind of a competition or exam. It was for 200 students, and she came on, I think, 10th level, and she was just not happy. And she said, 10th level? You could have been at the top level. Why not that? So imagine what kind of psyche her daughter must have built, that tomorrow in her life, any kind of experiences, whether it's a career or anything, maybe she will not satisfy, and she was always looking up. And when you keep looking up, then there is no level of satisfaction because it goes to comparison and not feeling enoughness. So these are the factors contribute in building such behaviors, and why you feel in that way, why you have developed such kind of beliefs. So it's your early childhood, your school, even in so many job environment, if they are very competent environment and there is always a pressure and there's always a high targets, and so you're constantly living in that competitive environment where you're under constant pressure. There also you experience imposter syndrome, where you feel even though you have achieved, but you don't look back what you have achieved, how far you have come, but it is always like achieve more, achieve more, achieve more. This is not enough, this is not enough. And then you start doubting your own abilities. So such competitive schools or such competitive home environment or work environment also affects your behavior and the way you think at it. And lack of positive reinforcement. As a child, if you have never received any kind of appreciation or any kind of acknowledgement, and there is never any positive reinforcement in you that fine, oh, I did really good. Oh, I achieved that. Lovely. No one has ever cheered you up, and no one ever told you that, you wonderful guy, you have done amazing thing. This is so great. So you're never used to of taking that, that positive feedback from anyone, or even in your mind, you don't even perceive your own abilities or achievement as a positive thing, or as a achievement in your life or success in your life, because somewhere you have never received any kind of appreciation or acknowledgement as a child, maybe from your parents, from your teachers, from anyone, and now you're not used to it. So you can't even appreciate your own self. So whenever you are successful in anything, you always try to give credit to someone else. You're so reluctant to own your own success. So these are the very common factors or very generic factors which contributes to develop such kind of behavior. And these are just on a very high level, because of what we are talking about, all these kind of beliefs and the environments we are raised in. So this affects on our mental health, on our physical health, on our behaviors. And this is what just now what we have discussed. It affects our self-esteem, it raises anxiety in us, because if I feel all the time very stressed and all the time I am downplaying my own abilities, I'm downplaying my own achievements. So there is always a dissatisfaction. And when there's a dissatisfaction, I'm always in anxiety. And it will affect my performance. It will affect my career. Maybe if I'm living in that environment, even though it's a very competent environment, but still, if I know how to appreciate myself, if I know how to own my success, I will manage in that environment too. I will get through it. Even though I will fail, but I will bounce back. Even though I will have that fear, oh my God, if I have to come out of my role and I have to expect something new for me to perform or work at it. So obviously, I might fail, I might be judged, I might do mistakes. But never mind, I want to do it. I will move. But when we don't work on our such behavior and beliefs, we are always stuck and stagnant. And it affects our relationship also, because if you don't feel that you are worthy of anything, because it's just not that you feel that you are not worthy of success, but then you feel you are worthy of nothing. And if you feel that you're not worthy of love or success or any kind of amazing things in your life, it affects your relationship also, because you will be reflecting the same thing in your relationships, whether with your family or with your partner or anyone, because that unworthiness will keep coming up, and that you can never build that healthy connection with your, whether a relationship is just not with your family or your partner, it's with your colleagues, it's with your classmates, it's with everyone. So imagine, like, with such belief, how it really affects our behavior, our mental health, our physical health. And obviously all of us, we know that anxiety and stress, even though we say it's a mental health issue, but it leads to physical problems. So I would say 90% diseases are coming out of stress.
स्पेस नहीं होगा, गूगल से दे निकाल के, तो उसने मुझे एक सेंड किया, मैं तुझे दिखाती हूँ, अगर ये वाला डन कर दूं.
Whoever has unmuted, please mute. Okay. All right. So these are the common, we can say, the impact on our behavior, on our mental health, on our physical health. And now let's talk about, okay, we have talked about all these symptoms and its impact. Now let's talk about the real thing, how we can address it. Okay, all of us at some part, we know that this is how these things are affecting us. But now let's come to the core of it. How can we address this, and how can we change it? So the first question I want you to ask yourself now, so please do ask yourself now, mentally. Maybe you don't want to tell me, it's perfectly fine, but mentally ask yourself, how do you view yourself? And when I say, how do you view yourself, not in perspective of how your parents want to see you or someone else want to see you, but you yourself. How do you view yourself? Do you view yourself as someone who is like really adding value in this world, or someone who is always having a positive attitude, who is ready to, is a go-getter, and you, who is someone who can achieve his or her goals, and someone who's having a really positive attitude and very, optimistic point of view in life, and someone who believes that I have a control over my life and I can do things, I can achieve things? Do you view yourself in that realm, in that perspective? Or do you view yourself someone who says, I have no control over my life, life is just happening to me and I am just so miserable, and I'm of no value, I'm not worthy, and I'm experiencing imposter syndrome, and I can't move, and I don't have a confidence? So all these questions are very important to understand one basic concept, and that is your core self-evaluation. And this was a very interesting research done on the core self-evaluation, and the basic concept of the core self-evaluation is this. As an individual, as a person, how do you view yourself? Or you can say, how cognitively you appraise the situation around you. Whatever is happening around you, how do you appraise that situation or perceive that situation? And based on that perception, what do you interpret out of that situation? And then you react to that situation. It's a very powerful and very simple concept also. So basically, cognitively, how do you appraise all the situation, what's happening around in your life, in the world? How do you appraise their situation? And based on that appraisal, how do you interpret those situations? And then how do you react to that situations? So this is a very important concept to understand, and it's simple, but it's very effective. Because all those symptoms, all those behaviors we have discussed just now is basically is addressing everything. It's a core thing. So to address the imposter syndrome or lack of confidence or low self-esteem, all these things are, you can say, the underlying reason of your self-evaluation. So generally, we say under self-evaluation, like as per the research, under the self-evaluation, there are 4 traits of self-concept. First one is the self-esteem. Do I value myself? Do I respect myself? Do I think I'm really important? Because as I said before, self-esteem is the core of your most of the behaviors where you have the self-doubts. So self-esteem is basically how much you put yourself as a value in your life. Do you really value yourself? Do you really acknowledge your abilities? And imagine if you have a high self-esteem, how good you can do in your business, in your career, in your education, because you think high of yourself. Like I think Harris was talking to me before, and I loved his approach, what he said, that I know this is a breakthrough interview I'm getting, and this is going to change my life. And he was so positive. It was such a positive energy, and I didn't feel even that sense, that fear of not happening. So imagine if you have a high self-esteem and you think good and positive about yourself, what you can achieve with that. You will go to an interview with altogether different energy. You will go to your exam with altogether a different energy. In your relationship, you will value yourself. So the first trait of the self-concept evaluation is self-esteem. So do as you, I appreciate if you can, please, all of you, just note down these things, because if you are here, all of you, if you are here today, so I'm sure you want to change something in your life, right? You want to learn something in your life, and you can only change by taking action. So these are few simple but very powerful steps what I want to do. These are the self-analysis, because you will only understand your behavior once you will start your self-analysis or self-evaluation. So this is very important. Please note down, do this exercise, maybe after the webinar, whenever you're free, but do that. And do answer these questions. Do I really value myself? Secondly, self-efficacy. Now this concept came, self-efficacy is basically, we can say, do you believe that you can achieve your goals or anything you want that you can achieve in your life? And this concept came by a psychologist. His name was Albert Bandura in 1982. And he describes self-efficacy to your own judgment about what you can achieve in your life or you cannot achieve in your life. So self-efficacy is basically your judgment on your own self, like whether I can really achieve in your life what I really want to achieve. And when you have any kind of doubt, that, for example, there is your boss, maybe you're working and your boss told you that, you know what, I want to give you a new project. Are you ready for it? So maybe you want to step back for a moment. And when you have this self-doubt and you start thinking whether I can achieve it or not, so just ask yourself, what are all the successes till now I have achieved in my life? And what did I do at that time? How did I achieve at that time? Because somewhere, to believe that I can do it, I have to acknowledge what I have already achieved in my life. So don't think in a big terms that maybe your definition, not everyone, but maybe your definition is achievement or success is something really big. Maybe it's something very small or minor thing which you think is a very small or minor thing you have done in your life, but that was some kind of an achievement or success in your life. So just go back and ask yourself, what all the successes or achievement I have previously in my life? What did I do at that time? And how did I achieve that? And if I have achieved that, I can do this as well. Why we have this imposter syndrome to move to move forward and to take a new opportunity, to take a new challenge in life. When we think that we can't do it, and we don't acknowledge that we have already achieved something in our life. That acknowledgement is not there, because it goes back to the same concept of imposter syndrome, that you don't believe that you deserve success. And this is the reason that all the successes you have already achieved, you don't acknowledge them. And that where it comes to self-doubt. So it goes back to the same concept, that you don't believe that you deserve success. So whenever there is a new opportunity coming up, you want to move forward in your life, so do ask yourself, what successes have I already achieved till now? And what did I do at that time? What abilities, what skills I used at that time? If I can do that, I can do this as well, right? Another important trait is locus of focus. Okay, this is something very important. Something we call is internal focus, and something is called external focus. Internal focus, when if I want to achieve something in my life, or I want to take important decision, I want to take up some new opportunity or anything, either I will go inside and I will ask myself, okay, fine, do I have this ability to do that? Even if I don't have, I can learn something new, or what do I need to believe in order to achieve this one, and what action do I need to take? And all those internal work you are doing to achieve something outside. And sometimes we are not focused internally, but we are focused externally. And that external factors are telling us that I'm not good enough. It's very difficult to do it. It's very hard to do it. What if I fail? What I will be embarrassed. I will be ashamed. What people will judge me. People will tell me, okay, fine, you are not that capable to handle this. And so. All those external things goes on in your mind. And there was a very interesting research was conducted on Olympics winners in 2020. And they said, like, a normal psyche is this, that a person who will win a silver medal will be more happier than the person who will win a bronze medal. But when they conducted their research, it was the opposite. The person who wins the bronze medal was more happier than the person who won the silver medal. The reason was that those who won a silver medal, they were unhappy, and they were thinking, why not the gold medal? They were looking upwards, and they were saying, why I'm not there? I could have been on the top. Why not the gold medal? Why silver medal? And they were unhappy. But the people, those who won bronze medal, they were looking down, and they were saying, oh, out of the so many people, even I'm on third and fourth position, but I won a bronze medal. And they were more happier than the people, those who were those who won the silver medal. And this is very strange. So what is the learning here? Where do we focus in our life? Are we constantly looking upwards? And we feel very overwhelmed with that. And we feel very dissatisfied with that, because I'm here and I'm constantly looking upwards. Or I'm looking downwards, and I see that, how far I have come in this journey, even if I have won bronze. So even to reach to that level, how far I have come, what I have learned, and what I have experienced, and who I have become. And, it's like that's more satisfying for you. So it's very important that whenever in any situation, where are you looking? Where is your focus? And that's a very important factor. And always ask yourself, whenever there is a sense of dissatisfaction, whenever there is a sense of self-doubt, do ask yourself, where is my focus? So it goes back to self-efficacy. That do you believe that you can achieve your goals? So where is your focus? Or you're still looking upwards, and there is this dissatisfaction, and there is not enoughness, and there's still you're thinking, I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not that lucky, and that person is lucky. You will never achieve anything out of it instead of anxiety and stress. So whenever you're in that situation, in that moment, just ask yourself, where is my focus? Another important thing, the fourth trait of self-evaluation is your ability to regulate your emotions. And this is very important, very important. Most of the time we are suppressing our emotions, we are ignoring our emotions, we don't want to address them. And all that is creating in us is anxiety and stress. And it's a very uncomfortable feeling in our body because there is something which is disturbing us. Whether I'm feeling imposter, I'm feeling low confidence, I'm feeling low self-esteem, whatever the feeling is there, always see that how you're feeling in your body. What emotion is coming up? Even if you're not feeling good about any situation, any relationship, maybe there was some kind of a business decisions you were taking, maybe there was something you were deciding for the career, or whatever stage of your life you are in. So if there is, you're feeling imposter, you're feeling is a very low confidence, and I'm not feeling that confident to move that. So what is that exactly I'm feeling? Don't ignore that. Don't suppress that. There are many ways you can do this. Maybe you can sit with yourself and have a journal, do meditation, ask the questions. It's very important to ask yourself powerful questions because you will get an answer. No one is going to answer on your behalf. So please understand that. It's your life, it's your journey, and you have all the answers. Your subconscious might have all the answers, but the only thing what you're missing is you are not addressing it. You're not taking the time out to do that. So it is very important for you that to understand that what emotions I'm having in my body and how can I process that, what I'm understanding out of it, and what action do I need to take to move or get through from those emotions, and I feel better. Because you are the only one who is in charge of your emotions. Maybe you can go and watch some motivational video, and you must have experienced many times when you're feeling very low, you just watch some motivational videos, or maybe you call someone and they motivate you for some time, they make you feel very good. And after some time, you go back to the same space. The reason is that you are focused externally. You are taking, trying to use few things outside of you to motivate you or make you feel better. But you are not focused internally. What is that which is really upsetting me? What are my emotions? How can I get control of it? Or how can I process them? Or how can I address them? And what action do I need to take to feel better? And this is not an action just to watch some motivational video, but first to understand and acknowledge your emotions. And that's very important. Don't ignore it. Don't suppress it. So this is something very important. You need to focus on that. So just give me a moment. Let me have a sip of water. Okay.
Can I ask some question? Hello.
Yes. Maybe you want to ask at the end of the session, or if there's something you want to ask now, it's okay.
Because I want to ask you on this for this evaluation. How can we control our emotions when we have stress, and how can we control our emotions when we have a stress?
Okay. Thanks for this question. It's a very common issue, what I think all of us we experience at some point of in our day or in our life. See, first, let's understand, if we say that I'm having stress and I'm facing some kind of emotion, first of all, what is causing stress? We need to understand that. So it's a self-work. Understand why I'm stressed. Okay, for example, I'm stressed because fine, I have to pay my rent. I don't have money at the moment. And sorry. And because of that, That's my stress trigger, or that's my stress point. Because of that, I'm feeling very low, and I'm feeling a lot of anxiety, and I'm having all those negative stories in my mind. If I will not pay the rent, this will happen, the owner will come to my home, the owner will complain, owner will do this, blah, 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 blah. And all those negative stories will come to my mind. But the thing is that I have to just step back and now see my situation. It's just like as a third person, see your situation. This is my stress. This is my emotion. First, you have to acknowledge, because unless and until you don't know what is the emotion, what is disturbing you, and what is a real trigger, you will not be able to process it. So just come, like this is a whole picture, just picture the whole thing, fine. And now I'm coming out of the situation. It's just like I'm watching some video on some movie on the cinema screen, or it's just in front of me, the whole picture. I just came out of that. As a third person, as an observer, I will look at it. I find this is a situation, this is my emotion, and this is how I'm feeling. And now what I can do to address this. Think what have triggered my stress. What action I can take to address that? There's always a way out. Yeah, maybe I can just call my owner, take some more time. Maybe I can arrange money from, I can ask a friend if he or she can help me. Or there is always some kind of a solution you will find there. And now I'm feeling very anxious. What I can do with that? So I can, reduce this anxiety. I maybe not over, like I can say 100% I will be fine after just processing. No, you might have that some kind of anxiety, and you will not overcome 100% of it. But then once you will start taking action, that will reduce. Maybe in that time, you can just a little bit slow down, take some deep breath, and just tell yourself, I can do it. I will handle it. I'm in control. I'm in charge. It's just telling yourself, it's just a positive affirmations you're telling yourself. I can do it. I can in charge. But first you get that clarity, get the big picture. Rather than sitting with that, it's better to just be more proactive and address it and go for it. Remember one thing, these emotions of whether it's an imposter, whether it's low self-esteem, self-doubts, everything, these are human emotions. It will come up. You can't control all the time 100% of these emotions. You can't be in charge of all these emotions at the same time. But the only thing which can help you to move from that situation is action. Simple. No matter what, take action. No matter what, take action. Even though that feeling is, the self-doubt is there, that anxiety is there, that stress is there, but there is always a solution, just doing it. And there are so many people, there's those who are very high achievers. They still, they have this imposter syndrome, or they self-doubt themselves. One of the examples that I give, Tom Hanks is a very famous actor, and he said that for so many years, he talked very openly about it, for so many years, he experienced imposter syndrome. He always doubted his own success. He always felt that he does not deserve that success he got. He always had this feeling that people one day will find out that he is not that good actor, what they perceive or what they think of him. And with those feelings and with those doubts, he never stopped working. He kept on working. And that's what you say, keep pushing in that moment. Keep pushing in that moment when you're having all these self-doubts, you have anxiety and stress. But the only thing you can take charge of it once you come out of that picture. Just, it's like, distance from that external reality. Come out of it, then look at it, and then take action. Taking action is the only solution when you can overcome to your problems or your any kind of stress or emotions what you're going through, and acknowledging them, processing them, whether through journaling, whether through talking to someone who can really support you in that, or whether you meditate or whatever you feel comfortable, but do acknowledge, do process them, and take action. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thanks. So now, very important thing to overcome this imposter syndrome. Something, let's understand. This is like, I'm just thinking like how to put this. This is so important that our self-identity is like we reflect in the stories we tell to ourselves. You know, and there was this famous psychologist, I think Adam McDonald's. I think I've written his name. McAdams. Yes, sorry, it was Stan McAdams, and he has given this concept of the stories you tell yourself, and I really find it very interesting. It's just like so precisely he has explained this. He said the people, those who have meaning in their life and those who have purpose in their life, they are always telling the stories of their life with their growth and their success and their achievements and, you know, their triumphs. And such people, those who are living their life with meaning, and they're telling themselves and to others their stories with a more positive perspective, they named it as a redemptive stories. And like he said, there are two kind of authors of the stories. One author is always writing the story of doom and gloom, and it's like your life is such a tragic story of your life, and it's so much problem and so much issue that your life is so difficult, and you know it's totally gloomy. And another author of the story is the one who will write a story of triumphs through a tragic and traumatic incidents, but how they got through it and how they were successful to getting through of that situation and their challenges. And it's like two different perspectives of telling your story, because the problems will happen to everyone. Challenges are always there, but there are two kind of authors. One who is living on purpose and telling a meaningful stories and telling even their problems with their solutions or how they got through it in a very positive perspective, and they call them redemptive stories. And the people, those are always telling the tragic incidents of their life, the traumatic incidents, and how many problems they're having in their life, and they call it a contaminated stories. So this is a very important aspect of it, that what story of your life you're telling yourself and others. Because understand one thing, that all of us, we are here on this planet to take experiences, to grow. Simple as that. Whether you think you're born in a very privileged family, or you born in a very challenging family, maybe you have very challenging parents, maybe you have very challenging environment, or anything. Whatever the situation or circumstances or the household you're born in, we will all face some kind of the challenges, this or that, or maybe there is somewhere there's a health issue, somewhere there's a financial problem, somewhere there's a relationship issues, anything. Every single person on this planet is going through some kind of a challenge, because this is why we are here, to go through these challenges, learn and grow. And that's the only thing. And then above that, it's like, what is the meaning and purpose of your life? So once you are living a meaningful life, and you are like every day you're waking up and you're telling a better story to yourself, that today I'm going to do something really good. So today I have this vision in my life. I have this purpose in my life. No matter how many problems do I have on my list, but I'm going to get through it. I'm going to sort it out. And whenever I talk about myself, and when I say I talk about myself, just not to my friends or my family, first of all to myself, what is going on in my mind. And imagine, whole day we are thinking, whole day we're telling some story to ourselves. Doesn't matter about what, but whole day we're telling stories to ourselves. This is how my life is, this is how my career is, this is imagine, this is what happened, this and that. So what stories are you telling yourself? A redemptive story, or you are telling a contaminated story? So this is your choice. It goes back to the thing of locus to focus is, what are you focusing on? Yes, you have problems, you have issues. It's okay, you can tell to a friend, fine, I have this issue. For example, I lost my job. And okay, fine, that's your genuine concern, that's your genuine issue, and no one is telling you that to deny whatever challenges or difficulties or you're having in your life. All we're saying, don't deny it, but redefine it, because you are the author of your story. So edit it. Whatever you were telling before, edit it now. Stop telling the contaminated stories, the tragic incidents of your life, the sad stories of your life, the trauma in your life. Instead, how can you come out of this loop of contaminated stories, what you're telling yourself and others? It's like at least once a week. I'm not asking you to do more, but once a week, maybe on the weekend, just 1 hour a day, maybe 30 minutes a day, maybe 10 minutes a day. Just sit with yourself. Go back any of your past event where you think you had a very difficult situation. Analyze that and just think, what did I learn out of that? How did I grew from that experience? What was my learning? And how I can apply this learning in my future incidents or my future situations. And this is how you're going to redefine your story. It's the same thing. I lost my home, I lost my money, I don't have enough money, I can't travel, I can do, fine. Now you go back to that incident, just tell yourself, fine, today I don't have this, but I'm going to take an action to have it, to achieve it, and I can do it. So this is very important. What stories you are telling yourself, it impacts the quality of your life. So this is your identity, what you tell others and what you tell to yourself. And this is very important. Please, this is very powerful and this is very important. What stories you tell to yourself and to others about yourself. What is your identity? Crisis, tragedies, traumas, losing your loved ones, losing money, having losses, not having maybe as of to your desired wishes, whatever it is. Tell a more redemptive stories. I had this issue, you know what? Imagine, we get inspired from other people, those who have really achieved something in their life. And that's why we say, oh, we feel very motivated when we watch that video. Imagine that guy was sleeping in a car and today he's a multimillionaire. We know he was sleeping in his car and now today he's a multimillionaire, but there was a whole journey here. There was a whole process he has went through, right? So we have an issue here, but then we have a redemptive story to tell. Fine, I had this issue, but you know what? I made it happen. You know, I lost my job. And we say, oh, the job market is really bad. Forget it. I lost my job. I was so focused and I was so positive that I get a better opportunity. And you know what? I got it. So you are sharing your story with other, maybe your best friend, and you're telling, you know what? I had this issue. I had this problem, but I did this to come out of it. So imagine the person who is listening to you be inspired, not drowned and feel exhausted. Oh my God, all the time this person is telling me the same thing over and over. And no one is denying your challenges in your life, and no one is denying the suffering in your life, but that's a part of your journey. But that makes you what you have become today. So this is very important, that some people, they have become their experiences. They are so much intertwined with their negative events that they have become that person. So you don't have to become your, the negative experiences, what you are explaining, or all those tragic things what you explain. You don't have to become part of it. It's just like separate yourself from that. It happened for a reason. There is nothing called as a coincidence in life. Everything happened for a reason. So if anything very tragic and very difficult thing has happened in your life, there must be some reason behind it. So there must be some learning. There must be something to make you stronger, maybe. So tell a better story to yourself, redemptive stories to yourself and to others about yourself. So from now on, decide on that. Going forward, you are not going to talk about any contaminated stories about your life. If you want to share, share, but with a positive outlook, with a positive perspective. I have this challenge, and you know what? I'm very determined to come out of it. I'm very focused, and I believe in that I will come out of this situation. So fine, the person who will be also listening to you will be also inspired. Someone told me, just very briefly, someone told me a few days back, we were talking about someone, the person lost a job, and she said, you know, it's a really bad news. She lost a job. And I said, no, this is just a news. It's not bad. It's just a news that person lost a job. But it definitely means that she is going to get something better than this. And this is the perspective she needs to have. So we label it. This is a bad news. This is a good news. Unless and until there are some exceptions out there when you lose your loved ones, there's something else. But again, that's another level of discussion that we also grew in that pain as well when we lose our loved ones. So anyways, coming back to it. So tell yourself more positive stories about yourself, even in your mind, to your friends, and have more redemptive stories rather than contaminated stories. Another important step is inner critic and ego. Let me take one. Tell me something when you see yourself in a mirror. What is your first impression? Or anything new you do in your life, or most of the time, if anything you do in your life, well, let's forget about a new thing, any general thing you do in your life, what is your self-dialogue? So most of the time we're criticizing ourselves, you know. So this our inner critic and this our ego. It is always telling us, I'm not good enough. Others are better than me. I can't do this. And, you know, I give to my brain all the reasons of not doing something, and I'm criticizing my abilities, my knowledge, my talent, everything, my looks, my image, everything I'm criticizing. Because our brain job is like, you know, it's to keep us safe, and we want to feel safe in any situation. So when we are internally criticizing ourselves for not doing anything or for any situation in our life, so it's basically our brain is saving us from, you know, getting failed in that. Because then, okay, I have this fear of failure, so that's why I'm not moving forward. So I have all this inner critic working me. No, I'm not capable of it. I give you an example of that manager who was saying, just do whatever is on your desk or on the table and just do that. There's no need to look left and right. So it's basically what you're saying is you want to feel safe. You want to feel safe, and now you want to be safe from getting failed in something. And you're constantly criticizing yourself because you don't believe in yourself, and the ego is there. And there's a very interesting story you must have heard or read somewhere, and I really love this story. It's a very good narrative they have given. There was an old man, and once he was talking to his grandson about general quality of life, and he told his grandson, you know what, there is a duality in every human being, and there is always within us, all of us, there are two wolves, those who are fighting with each other. And he said, okay, which are those? He said, one is the evil wolf, and that is like our ego and greed and anger and lust and you know, all these negative emotions. And the another one is like a good wolf, and that is kindness, joy, love, and being humble and faith. And then the grandson, he said, which wolf wins? So the very profound answer he gave, he said, which one you feed. So it's very important to understand. So all of us, we have this, you know, two wolves fighting inside us. So one wolf tells us we are not good enough, and there is always this ego is working, and there is anger, and there is a resentment, and there is a jealousy. We are envious, and all these negative emotions and feeling of envy, jealousy, anger, bitterness, and all these feelings and emotions are there. That is also part of us. That's a human being. That's experience we have. And then there's another part of us, which is love, kindness, being humble, having faith, being like positive. So these two things are always fighting internally. And who wins? The one we feed. So it again goes back to where we focus on. So this is very important to understand which wolf we are feeding. And there was some very, I read somewhere, but I didn't remember all those lines, but it was very beautiful written that evil is non-existent. Evil is non-existent in the absence of higher nature. Death is an absence of life. Ignorance is in the absence of knowledge. So in this perspective, it was like so many lines in that that perspective, and I really love the way that the whole thing was written. So basically, when we look at our ego in this perspective, so if we are saying here is like ego is basic. When we have this ego is basically in the absence of our higher nature. So when we talk about another wolf with love and joy and kindness and having faith, so that is something we are talking when we transcend ourselves from this physical world or this physical physical desires, or I won't say desires, but it's like a physical thinking of this jealousy, envious, and in this competition, and another word, comparison to others. And this is a very physical thinking, or I would say it's a beliefs, or we are in a very I would say it's a lower self. But we have to transcend from our lower self to our higher self, to a higher nature, when we say it's a spiritual awakening and living your life on a higher purpose. And when we transcend from this lust and anger and competition and jealousy and all these physical feelings and emotions, and we just transcend from that level to a spiritual level, and when we are having a higher nature, our soul level purpose, why we are here. It's very important to know why we are here on this planet. Have we only come here just to be a mother to a sister, or a daughter, or a sister, or a CEO, or an entrepreneur, or is this my only purpose? No, I'm sure there's a bigger purpose for me. These are the roles I'm playing here, and fine, this is a requirement of this physical world. I have to play these roles. But is this the only purpose? Is this it? Because I will keep moving in that lower self, and I will keep feeding that evil wolf till the time I will not understand what is the higher purpose of my existence. How can I live a more meaningful life where I don't have to think who is talking about what about me. And I heard like when I talk to some females, and they are in a deep depression because someone said something about them. So we are so much mentally stuck with these physical things. That person is jealous of us, that person passed a negative comments, and we are in constant loop of depression, anxiety, and stress because we're stuck here, down here. So it's our lower self. So we have to come on a higher self. And how can you come there? Once you will start focusing on how can I live a more meaningful life? What is the higher purpose of my life? Every morning when I'll wake up, I will have that thing on my mind. Oh, today I have to achieve this. Today I have to work on that. I won't be having any time to listen to the negative feedback, or I don't watch news because I don't have a patience to take all this negative information inside me. It's good to be informed, but you don't need to all the time. I know people are some addicted. They keep watching news, and 99% is just telling you what wrong is happening in this world. Hardly they tell you that something is really good happening in this world. It's always like, the person is died, there is an attack, there is a bombshell, there is this and that. So you take charge of your life, first of all, and don't let the negativity come inside you, because only you can block that, no one else. Whether it's a negative comment, negative feedback, nothing should stop you. Because see, once you will be having a higher purpose in your life, and you will understand, I'm not the physical being, I'm the spiritual being. I will think from a soul level. God has sent me on this planet. Fine, these challenges, sufferings happening for my growth, but what is there He wants me to do? What is that He wants me to achieve out of these experiences? So understand that and work on that. Once you are focused on that, you will ignore all these self-doubts and people's opinion, and you will come out of it. So it's like you will take control of yourself, and this ego and this self-criticism will go away once you are working on a higher realm, right? And I can give you another exercise, and this is very powerful exercise. It's a very simple exercise and very powerful exercise to address your internal self-criticism. When you wake up in the morning and you go to the washroom, I'm sure all of you have some mirror in your washroom, or if not in the washroom, you have mirror in your room. Just give yourself 1 or 2 minutes to just do 2 things. First of all, just give 1 minute, an intentional 1 minute, when you think, how I'm going to show up today, who I'm going to be today. Have that intention before you start your day. How I'm going to show up today, who I'm going to be today. Just decide for 1 minute, intentional 1 minute, and then rest of the day, follow that. Secondly, very interesting thing I have learned from someone, and actually Mel Robbins, and that was a very interesting concept, and it really works. And that is giving yourself high five. Like when you look at yourself in the mirror, just give yourself, wonderful, Asma. This is a high five to you, and you are doing great. You're amazing. Because we are not used to getting, accepting the appreciation and a self-love. And we say self-love is not, we will not say it's a selfishness, but it's like acknowledging yourself and accepting yourself. Every morning, give yourself high five. Wonderful, Asma. You are doing great, and you can do more, and great. I love you. You're amazing. Once you start doing that, that feeling of even loneliness, that I'm alone, there is no support. Because, you have this feeling, not all of you, but if you have this feeling that I'm alone, there is no support for me. So you can give yourself high five. I'm there for you. I'm there for you. I have your back. So then you don't need anyone to have your back. You own your own back. I have your back. Come on, you can do it. You did your best, and look at how far you have come. What have you achieved in your life? And this will take just 2 minutes from you. And trust me, maybe first day you will find very alien and you say, what the hell I'm doing? But if you feel that, then this is a point where you need to understand that you are not used to taking appreciation and acknowledging yourself. And this is very powerful. Do this every morning. Give yourself high five and appreciate yourself. And you will see the difference, how this self-criticism and self-doubt will just start, going off, and you will be in a more appreciative situation in your life, and where you will be ready to take more challenges or opportunities in your life, because you know you can do it and you can bounce back. Even if you fail, you can bounce back. Another important thing, because, okay, in every webinar, I just keep saying one thing. See, you are the one who's going to control your life. You are the author of your life. Like we were talking about, write a redemptive story or contaminated story. So if you are not going to spend time with yourself, if you are not going to do any kind of self-work or take any action to change your life, trust me, your life will never change. Maybe you can attend this webinar. Maybe you're inspired with something. Maybe you feel good for some time. But then if you will not take any kind of action to change your life, and even if you're experiencing imposter syndrome and you want to come out of it, and you're experiencing lack of confidence or self-doubt or whatever, if you will not take any kind of action, life will never change, and you will keep flowing in that. So do some tiny promises with yourself. I'm not asking you to do from today, just start doing something big. No, change is not easy, because we are very used to thinking in a certain way, and change is not easy. When we are programming ourselves in a different way, it takes some time. Even if you have developed these habits maybe in the last 18 years, 20 years, 30 years, 25 years, and don't expect you will change your habits or way of thinking just overnight. It takes time, right? And even just coming back to the high-five exercise, another important point I remember why it really works. So there is this research where they call neurobics, which tells that any physical action with unexpected thoughts will create a new neural pathways. So imagine, like since our childhood, we have learned that if we do high five, so it means we are cheering someone, right? We are appreciating someone. So our body has already programmed with that giving a high five means we are cheering someone, we are just, appreciating someone, and we're feeling that, that happiness inside us. So our body is already programmed what high five means. So you don't have to do any kind of programming there. So imagine when you will do it for yourself, how fast your brain will accept it. So this is very important to understand what even the science behind giving a high five to yourself really helps you. So coming back to the previous point, what I want you to do, just do some tiny commitment with yourself. I'm not asking you to take some big steps, tiny commitments, some tiny promises with yourself that going forward, let's say another 10 weeks, I will do this one small thing which will help me change my life. Maybe I'm going to learn something new on YouTube. Maybe I'm going to take some course, or maybe if I am having health issues, so I will start eating healthy. And maybe just one thing during my day, I'm going to eat one meal as a healthy meal, but some tiny promise and commitment to yourself, because that will show that you value yourself. You own yourself. So once you will value yourself, so and you really want to change yourself, so start taking some small steps. So I want you to put anything for yourself, whether it's learning, whether it's your personal development growth. Maybe you want to develop, you want to take some kind of course or some coaching where you can improve yourself. Maybe you want to learn something new on develop some new skills, some new certification, which can help you to grow in your career. Maybe that's simply you are a very stressed person. Next 10 weeks, I'm going to meditate every day, 10 minutes. That's it. End of the story. Just a tiny promise, just a tiny commitment that for 10 weeks, I'm going to do this one thing, just one thing, which can help you to change your life in a positive way. So I want all of you to do this promise. And I will be more than happy to see if you people will take this decision today, and after 10 weeks, you send me a message telling me that from that day, we took this decision, we did this tiny commitment to ourselves, and we have achieved it, and we worked on this for 10 weeks, and what results did you get out of it? So please do that, and I will love to hear from you people that what was your 10 weeks project and what did you achieve out of it. So that will be great for me also to know about it. And lastly, I will say to acknowledge your success, because this is all about imposter syndrome, that we feel undeserving of success. And when we feel undeserving of success, it's very important to acknowledge what we have achieved in life. Have one journal, diary, whatever. Just write, this is my success journal. Your mind will start acknowledging that, man, come on, you have achieved so much, you have come so far. Oh, you did this also. Maybe consciously you will not remember so many things you have achieved in your life. But once you will start writing, you'll be surprised yourself that, oh, I did that also. Wow, maybe that was something winning in your school. Maybe that was something winning in a competition. Anything. Just write your successes. So your mind and brain will start accepting that you have achieved this success and you can do it more. And you deserve to be successful. And whatever you have achieved till date, give yourself that credit. Be thankful for all your experiences, and you will definitely grow. And that's it for my end. Any questions? Are there 41 messages? Oh, where is go? Okay. Any questions? Anything you want to ask? You want to discuss? Oh, I will definitely try this challenge. Lovely, Shabana. I will wait for it. I will love to hear your feedback.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
I'm very happy to have you here. Just I want to say something about self-esteem. That remember building health self-esteem is a process that takes time and efforts. Be
Mm-hmm.
patient with yourself and keep working towards your goals. Here
Mm-hmm.
are some comments about self-esteem that
Mm-hmm.
practice self-compassion, identify and challenge negative self-talk, and set realistic goals, celebrate your success every day, and
Mm-hmm.
surround yourself with positive people. And
Yeah.
also, the last thing is take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Just I want to add these things about self-esteem because I have a lot of experience with these things during my life.
Thank you so much, Rashad. That was brilliant. Thank you so much for
You're
sharing that.
welcome.
Yeah,
Uh,
lovely,
Thank you.
lovely. You're so right. Spot on.
Ma'am,
Yes.
it was fabulous. Everything that you told us, I experienced myself in my life, and also I experienced with my friends and my colleagues. Especially, I don't want to take time on the members' time, but I want to take in 1 minute maybe or less than 1 minute.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah. One of my best experience was when I started after my BA. I started working as uh, a finance officer. So when I entered to my job environment, at the first look, at first impression, everyone was thinking that, oh, how you came to this position. So do you had any relation with someone, or maybe there's something fishy even
Mm-hmm.
background of you? So everyone was thinking that I am someone pushed me to come here.
Mm-hmm.
But after I made some friends and on that area, and
Mm-hmm.
also I said that, hey dears, look, I'm not your enemy. I am the person that I wanna make my career. I wanna grow my career, and anybody in this environment want to know want to know something that I know already know. I am eager to share with you. So
Lovely.
I give them this opportunity and this feeling that I am one of you, and I helped many people that they were backward, they were stressful about getting new challenges, and job environment, or maybe in environment of education. Some of the people was just stuck on college stage. He or she said that she told said that, oh, I can go ahead because I have this excuses, this things. But I
Mm-hmm.
told him or her, maybe I helped a lot of people on that environment, that, hey, put the excuses in another part, or maybe and separate part, and see your ego, see yourself, that what you can do. So I helped a lot of them, but after 5 years that I left there, many people was thankful of me, that I helped them that grow, get a good position, get a good ranking. They get maybe from college to BA, from BA to master degree, and meeting new friends. And after 5 years that I left that place, uh, now even it is 2 years ago that I left that environment, but they called me that, thank you, I am thankful of you, and we are thankful of you that you did a good thing for us, and you made us good confident. So everything that you told us, it's something like my life experience that I experienced in my bachelor degree, and also in my master class. Also, there was some of my classmates that they were afraid of me. So, but I gave them self confidence. I gave them some good opportunities to gain them, and they are now thankful of me. It was
Thank you
my
so
life
much.
experience that I shared.
Haris, thank you so much for sharing that. Such a positive attitude. And that's what you call creating an impact. And thanks for sharing this, because this is a very I would say it's a very profound to understand that not always we get a very positive work environment. Work environments are challenging, and you will find all kind of people, and especially very envious people when you get some good role and everything. But you didn't went against them, and you a very good thing you said, you make them realize or understand that you are their friend, not an enemy. So they should not be feeling any kind of, actually this is a sense of insecurity, and they feel that competition, and this, because of the insecurity, this is how they react. So this is a lovely approach, because that's what I believe. When you are living on a higher level and you are not living with your lower self, so it's just not that you yourself are growing, but you are also helping others to change, because that's the energy you're creating in that environment. Yes, initially it must be very challenging for you to convince them who you are, but you don't have to convince them what you speak, but with your actions you have proof of who you are. And after 5 years the time spent, maybe that environment must have some, better than before, and people
Yeah,
are thinking,
yeah, it
wait.
was very good girl among them, and also the office was very gladful of me. They were grateful that you did a
Seriously.
lot of things, and we miss you that you are going from this place.
See,
You're
that's
left.
what, where you focus. Were you focusing on their negative attitude, or were you focusing on what I'm here to do and how I'm going to impact their lives positively? So this, you have shifted your perspective in this whole negative environment, and things change for you and others. So this is a great example, and keep carry on this attitude and keep
Yes,
creating more
thank you.
positive impact, because this is what we need. This is what we need from everyone, to create a more powerful and positive impact in our environment. Lovely, Haris. Thanks for sharing that
Thank you.
story. Really appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much. Welcome.
All right. Anything else do we have, or should we close the session?
Can I share my story as well?
Yes, why not?
So, like almost 4 years ago, I took a session on imposter syndrome. So, when I
Okay.
discovered about it, so I was like, yo, yes, I am suffering from this disorder, this syndrome. Then, like, I did not consciously act on the advices. Maybe I did not understand it well. But, like, throughout my journey, I have always self evaluated myself and improved every way. Like, I showed up, like, even I was not prepared, I was not ready to go on stage, but I always show up, like with trembling voice, with trembling hands. I did show up. So,
Wow.
like, it's a continuous process of it. And like after 4 years, after taking this session, I can like say, yes, I'm not suffering from imposter syndrome anymore. Yes, there are few things that I'm still coping, like fear of failure and some of like that. But I feel confident about myself. I have positive approach towards how I see myself. And like I would want to give an advice to all of the people who are saying, like I have read the comments, some of them saying that yes, we do suffer from the same syndrome. So like ma'am has given us wonderful advice, wonderful suggestion, how can we improve ourselves. But until and unless you are willing to change yourself, you not nobody is gonna help you out. Like they can help you with suggestion and all of that, but you have to act by yourself. Until and unless you can't achieve that.
Divya, so lovely. Yeah, I have Maheen. You got amazing people on your platform. I must say, I'm so happy. I'm so glad our new generation and these young people are having such a positive attitude, such a positive perspective, and it's so lovely to hear all of you. And it's because you are the people, those who are going to inspire others, people around you. Like Hari said, he has impacted his work environment, and with such a young age, Divya, you have this perspective and you are pushing it and you are moving no matter, because these emotions we can never 100% overcome. There won't be a day where I'll say, oh, I'm 100% confident and I'm 100%, I have no self-doubt, 100% I'm there. No, it's a learning. Even very successful people, they also have self-doubts, and they have anxiety and stress is a normal human emotions. We need to understand it's not something that you are wrong in feeling in that way. It's a normal human emotions, but like you said, it's your willingness to change. It's your willingness to acknowledge and accept it and move forward. Thank you so much, Divya, for sharing that. I'm so glad to see you such a young age. You have this perspective. I wish I could have learned at your age all these things.
I wish that I could have learned this before, but like I think it's okay. It's a work in progress. It's never stop. It's
You're
not
so young, Divya.
destination. It's like a journey that you must
Yeah.
enjoy. So I am just reading this book.
Oh, okay.
So
I
like
heard about this book a lot, but never got a chance to read it. But
like
I will read it. I will
whatever
read it.
we discussed in the session, it's completely related to this book. This book
Really?
same thing. Yes. So like I really recommended it to all of you. Okay, people
Lovely.
should read it and overcome their problems.
Thanks, Divya. Thanks for sharing that. Really appreciate it. All right. Who else? Anyone wants to chip in? Okay. Kiran, she said, I always wanted to be confident and positive, but due to my self-criticism, I never did to spoke first anywhere, either in class, presentation, my office, in my family, etc. But now, how are you doing, Kiran? If you have this confident and self-criticism attitude or behavior, I would say. So how you're doing now? How you're dealing with it? Kiran, you want to share something? You're working on it daily. All right. Little by yes, exactly. This is how you do. You don't have to take some big plunge to, do something overnight, because imagine we have developed something over the years and we expect to get a solution or to get changed just overnight. It doesn't happen. So the important thing is that you're taking action. So that's lovely. That's lovely. You don't have to work hard. You just go with the flow, but being conscious of it. Being conscious, like you said, you're going little by little. So you don't have to put this pressure on you that I have to work hard. No, I think you don't have to work hard, but just like being conscious, being aware of yourself, and doing at least one thing a day. All right, I would love to see how many people will join this challenge of 10 weeks. And I look forward to hear from you guys that in 10 weeks, just one thing, one tiny thing, not a big thing, one tiny thing, what you have promised to yourself or you committed to yourself. And then after 10 weeks, what results you got out of it. I would love to hear after 10 weeks. All right, thank you so much, everyone. And it was lovely talking to all of you. And thank you, Maheen and whole team for organizing these sessions. And I love to see all these young people with their positive energy. And, it's this awareness, I would say, it's awakening and awareness. It's great. It's great. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless you. Keep rising, keep growing. And there is no need to get stuck with anywhere. Anything? Yes?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. That was very nice.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Love is